Welcome, welcome to Horror of It All. I should get a nice intro there. Horror of It All. This is Will, usually your sci-fi guy, sometimes your tech trekker. This is horror though. This is Horror of It All, and we're talking Highway to Hell. It's one of those movies that surprise you. You're not expecting much. You're like, oh, I don't have anything else to really watch today. I don't know what to watch. And of course, with all these merry, joyous platforms, streaming platforms, you can pretty much watch anything. You can thousands or tens of thousands of choices. If you have three or four of the biggest, hundreds of thousands of choices. So you never are at a loss. You're never at um, an impediment, a roadblock. There you go. Let's go along with Highway to Hell. You don't. There's never a roadblock to you watching. But the other night, I was like, I'm tired of all the new ones or you know, the the big blockbusters. Let me try to find a smaller, horror film, a thriller horror film. So I stumbled upon on Amazon Prime. It's there if you're a primer, if you're an Amazonian, you can watch it for free, included. Highway to Hell. This is from its official wiki, 1992 horror American horror. I'm sorry, American B horror comedy, directed by Ate De Jong and starring Chad Lowe, Kristy Swanson, and Patrick Bergin. Kristy Swanson, you guys will remember, was the original Buffy from the feature film, not the TV series. That was Sarah Michelle Gellar. Kristy was in the original, the feature, and Chad Lowe, Rob Lowe's brother, and Patrick Bergin, a great actor. So that's our cast, our main cast. And basically, we've got a B movie, but it doesn't feel like one. And to me, this is the real trick to any good independent or B movie or smaller film. Their budget, whatever financial outlay they spend, they do it economically. They spend it, shape that production to it looks like a much bigger feature. This does. You won't never confuse it with a blockbuster, certainly, but that's also one of its other charms. I like smaller movies. I like B movies. I like the cheapies in ways. They have a focus and a directness that a lot of times the blockbusters do not. The blockbusters have to cater to their main A-list stars, to marketing, the studio's demands, yada yada. You've got a whole, cornucopia, a whole laundry list of demands that a big studio release has, which a cheaper, indie does not. So let's see. The production, Highway to Hell, again, American B horror movie. The film features cameo appearances, right, by Lita Ford, Gilbert Gottfried, who just passed, and actor Ben Stiller. Also, his sister Amy Stiller, their parents Jerry Stiller and Ann Mira. So that was a treat too. I was getting to that right, but Ben Stiller, in I think his first role, I think it says introducing, or certainly one of his first roles, one of his first big roles. Ben's in there with his dad, Jerry Stiller, most known, I guess, for playing George Costanza's dad on the big sitcom classic Seinfeld, and Mira, his mom, Jerry Stiller. Stiller and Mira, a big comedy team for years, and they're in Highway to Hell. So let's see. Again, it's basically about a guy, to put it into a little nut, little nut case, a little squirrel nut. You've got a couple, Chad Lowe and Kristy Swanson, and they're in love, and they're sort of on the run because I guess she's a little too young to get married, or the parents are not going to approve with Chad and her, so they're on the run to elope, and they get stopped by this cop who turns out to be a hell cop, a spawn or a minion of Satan. And the rest is his pursuit of getting her back because the hell cop steals her, and that's the focus. It says the production was shot in Phoenix and Page, Arizona. And Antelope Canyon was also a location, and that's what really impressed me too. There's several scenes in this enormous rock cavern canyon, which is all real. And many times a studio picture would maybe, replicate that, go into a soundstage. This is all real on location. It looks great. It says it was completed in '89, but the producers shelved the film for over a year before finally giving it a limited release, and then it was released to home video in '92 and DVD and Blu-ray in 2016. The reception, Kevin Thomas of the of Los Angeles Times writes, although ambitious, amusing, and even romantic, replete with lots of striking sets, yes, and jazzy special effects, its humor is not sophisticated enough to attract the wide audiences of a Beetlejuice. That's an interesting comparison too. I'd say, right, that it's sort of like a Beetlejuice. Beyond Hollywood called it a deliriously enjoyable satanic road trip that is fun if you approach it in the right frame of mind. Exactly. Horror Newsnet called it one of the greatest campy horror films to never arrive on DVD. It has since developed a cult following. I'm in the cult. It's, again, I think a lot of things, it's maybe expectations, maybe lower expectations. Back in the day, Mad TV, the great comedy sketch show, they had a sketch called Lower Expectations. All these kind of misfits meeting, and they had they had low and lower expectations to date. But that's basically what, Highway to Hell is too. I mean, it is a good film, but you go into it saying, well, you're not going to expect much, and they just give you a really great production and a really fun ride. And again, right, it's how you approach it. As one of the critics said, it says approach it beyond Hollywood. Todd Rigney says deliriously enjoyable satanic road trip that is fun if you approach it in the right frame of mind. Exactly. This is not going to be The Exorcist. This is not going to be Rosemary's Baby or The Omen. It's a devilish satanic horror comedy. So it's very slapstick at times even, but it works. Worked for me, might work for you. Cannot really recommend it enough because it's available on Amazon if you have Amazon. If you're an Amazonian, if you're a primer, whatever we call Amazon Prime customers, it's there. Take a look. If not, might be on the other streamers or rent it. I think it's even worth a rental. If you guys like, and it's released in 1982, but was completed in '89, so it's truly one of those '80s films that has that vibe and thematic quality that anybody who enjoys horror films and '80s films will, I think, take to. Highway to Hell, recommended. Take a look, my friends, and feedback us. Give us some feedback. Hope you enjoyed listening. Hope you enjoy subscribing to Sci-Fi Guy and to all our other segments. Horror of it all. We're going to do a lot more horror. I think we came out of Halloween. I did a lot. I want to get back to it. It is one of my first loves, science fiction and horror and fantasy. I guess those are my three biggies. And don't they overlap, right? You look at Alien, one of the greatest sci-fi horror. It's both. It's science fiction, but it knocks your socks off, makes you shit your pants. It's a shitter and it's a sci-fi. There you go. So subscribe if you have not. We're free, but we also have the paid tier. We're always free, but you can do $4.99. You get more. You get some great, exclusives, interviews, and goodies that the freebies do not get. So take a look, please, at Highway to Hell. You'll enjoy it. I did, and I think you will.